Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another hip hop album review. This is part 101. The album that I'll be reviewing today is Big Noyd's debut album, Episodes of Hustla, released in 1986. Before I start, some of you guys might know or might not know, but I have a Q&A that I will be recording on Saturday on the 7th. The deadline for it is tomorrow at 11:59 p.m. So if you guys still got questions, just go into the video. I'll post it down in the description box from all the questions that you want to post, that you want to submit. Been loving all the questions so far, so I'm looking forward. I'm excited. So tell a friend if they have a YouTube channel, they want to post on in the description box what questions they have. My only thing with the Q&A, just go through the questions that's been asked, so you don't repeat the same question twice. You know what I mean? Because I'll just probably not end up like reading it. Because if you ask me the same questions, it doesn't make no sense. You know what I mean? So just you have until tomorrow night, 11:59 p.m. 3/6/15. You know what I mean? So like I said, just look throughout all the questions. You have another question that kind of separates themselves from the other questions, feel free, you know what I mean? But without further ado, getting back to this album, Big Noyd Episode of a Hustler. He got his start back in the early 90s, back in 92, 93 specifically. He got his start on his first appearance on Wax was actually on Mobb Deep's first album, Juvenile Hell. Mobb Deep doing a poetical prophet. Mobb Deep. To me, around that time, Mobb Deep wasn't Mobb Deep that we all know. I mean, there was just like in the demo stages. To me, there was still like poetical prophets, but there's still Mobb Deep. But anyways, he was featured on the song "Stomp Him Out," which I believe was track 10. He did his thing on this track. I don't know if that song actually made any noise because the whole album didn't really do a lot of noise. So that was kind of like a forgettable album. But I have to do a review on that album. And fast forward 2 years later, Mobb Deep stepped the game up and it put up the Infamous. And one of the singles that they put out was Give Up the Goods, which was produced by Q-Tip. Shout out to Q-Tip. And Big Noyd was actually featured in the single Give Up the Goods. People loved his verse. People loved his verse so much, it actually gained him a deal with Tommy Boy Records. That's how ill he was. You know what I mean? I mean, still is, I should say. Funny little trivia on the story. I read an article which I'll post on the description box, like an interview where because if you guys know Big Noyd, he's really like a street dude. Like he's not really a rapper. He's more like he's one of those dudes that, to me, he's a dope MC, but he's mad street, you know what I mean? So he's really in the streets doing what he's doing, you know what I mean? I don't think he's doing the shit that he's not really doing that no more, obviously, because he'd be in jail if he was. But and I'm glad he's not in the streets anymore. But at the time, like, he was really heavy in the streets, and when they did a video, he was in the video, but not all the way. Because they had to actually get a stunt double, a Big Noyd stunt double, like a stunt double and shit like that. So you had some dude that actually looked like him, but it wasn't him, which I thought was kind of interesting. I guess based on the video, he was just saying like he wasn't really like big on the whole video process. Like it was like boring to him. It was like too long, things like that. He just thought like you just make a video, this and that, and that's it. And it talks about it in the interview. I'll post it on the description box. But anyways, that's what got him to deal with Tommy Boy Records. And fast forward to 1996, he had dropped this album right here, Big Noyd Episode of a Hustler. This is the OG copy. This is not the 2011 Traffic Entertainment re-release that came out in 2011. This is the OG, as you can see, Tommy Boy Records. You know what I mean? I miss them because they actually put out dope shit. Alright, open it up. This is what the album looks like. And then you open it up, it's a jewel case. Pretty dope. Has like a purple tone. You can see Big Noyd episode for Hustla. Pretty dope. Alright. Open it up. You see kind of like you know, like black room style photos, you know, stuff like, you know, like, you know, if you're a photographer, you go to the dark room, it has like the negatives and stuff like that. Kind of has that vibe to it. I like that. It's pretty dope. Kind of like how kind of like a police surveillance type of vibe to it, which I like. See a very young Big Noyd chilling in Queensbridge. See Big Noyd right here just looking at something. You see him counting money. You see his hands counting some money. You know what I'm saying? Pretty dope. We all like money. You know what I'm saying? All right. Singles off the album. Excuse me. There's 2 singles. The singles are Recognize and Realize and Usual Suspects. All right. Those are the singles. Guest appearance with producers on the album, I should say. Producers are Charlemagne. Shout out to Charlemagne. Charlemagne of Natural Elements. Very dope group from NYC. One of my favorite groups. Very slept on in my opinion. Havoc. And Stretch Armstrong. Yes, the same Stretch Armstrong of Stretch and Bobbito. Alright. Havoc does most of the beats, which I fucking love, because I'm a big fan of Mobb Deep's production, especially by Havoc, man. Guess appearances, features on the album are Prodigy himself. It's not. Well, it's not. It's on it, but it's only by their government names. But what's the Infamous Mob is actually on this album. Shout out to Infamous Mob. They're getting back together, so we'll see how that goes, man. I'm looking forward to that. What else? I have to get the Reality Rap album, by the way. I have to get that joint. Yeah, like I said, Prodigy with Mobb Deep, Havoc. Well, I should say Mobb Deep because they're both on the track. They're both on the album. Infamous Mob and this girl named Sekou. Sekou or Sekou, I don't know how you pronounce that. And so, as you can see, the features are minimal. He kept it in-house, which is cool. Like, kind of gives other people the shine, like from the hood and shit like that. All right. Start off with the first track. It's on You. It's just an intro. It's just an instrumental by Charlemagne. It kind of has like that Mobb Deep vibe to it. Very, very dope. Love the beat. Very short. It's kind of like a minute and a half long. Pretty dope. Track 2, The Precinct. That's more of an interlude. It's like a skit. In the beginning of the track, it actually, you know, it shows a little bit of the Grave interlude that was on the Infamous album. It was a skit before Cradle to the Grave, which is like one of my all-time favorite songs from Mobb Deep. Where Big Noyd got shot and stuff like that. You hear Havoc just yelling like, "Yo, get help, get help," and shit like that. And then it cuts that off, and then it goes to like these 2 detectives, old school New Yorkers, like just the way they talk, you can tell that old school New York, you know, that I miss. You know what I mean? You know, just looking for Big Noyd and shit like that. The theme of the album, what I kind of noticed too, is like which I'll get into later, but he kind of, the whole theme, it kind of reminds me of his Usual Suspects. If you seen them with Kevin Costner, Kevin Spacey, excuse me, Kevin Spacey. I forgot the other members. This one is under actors, but it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But just based on the skits and stuff like that, it kind of remind me of Usual Suspects. Like you know, they kind of looking for Kaiser Soze, and you know how that goes. So yeah, they pretty much talked about I'm looking for Noyd and stuff like that. Track 3, Recognize and Realize Part 1. That features Prodigy of Mobb Deep. That was the first single off the album. That actually came out in '95. The actual single. Pretty dope. They all do their thing. I think Prodigy had the best verse on the track, in my opinion. He definitely stole the show. Pretty dope track. Big Noyd does this thing too. Track 4, All Pro, featuring Infamous Mob and Mobb Deep. That's like more of a that was a if that was a posse cut, and they all do their thing. You can hit Ty Nitty, young as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ty Nitty. That's the dude right there. Friends with him on Facebook and Instagram. Mad cool. The only person that's not on the album is God, because I think at that time he was serving jail time, but I think he just gotten out around that time, because he was actually featured on the Hell on Earth album, and he was actually featured on what's that album by DJ Muggs, The Soul Assassins Chapter 1. Infamous Mob came out with a song called It Could Happen. I think it was called It Could Happen, or no, Life Is Tragic, and he's actually on that track. So but for some reason he's not on this album, he's not in this song. So but yeah, pretty dope track. They all do their thing. Yeah, it says additional vocals by Ty Nitty, Twin, and Prodigy of Mobb Deep. So yeah, they all do their thing on this track right here. Pretty dope track. Track 5, Infamous Mob, featuring Prodigy. Probably one of my favorite joints on the album. Another thing with this album, the production is some of the best production I heard from Havoc. You know, it was definitely recorded around Hell on Earth, because it definitely has that Hell on Earth vibe. So if you guys like Hell on Earth, then you'll definitely enjoy this album. I spoke too soon about that, but yeah, it definitely sounds like something that would have been on Hell on Earth. Fucking love that joint. Very, very dope. Track 6 is Interrogation. That was a skit. It's just the two detectives just pull one of Big Noyd's mans, just questioning him, like, yo, where's Big Noyd? He's obviously denying, he's trying to cover up for Big Noyd. He's like, nah, I don't know who that is, blah, blah, blah. He's like, get the fuck out of here, type of thing, you know what I mean? Pretty dope. Track 7, Usual Suspect. That's a solo track by Big Noyd. Fucking love that track. That's actually the second single of the album, and it's the last single of the album. Pretty dope. This is the original version. This is not the Stretch Armstrong remix that was on the 12-inch. Pretty dope track. I wish there was a video for that, and I'll explain why there's no videos off this album, and I'll explain that in a little bit. That was the second and final single of the album. Pretty dope. Definitely sounds like something that would have been on Hell on Earth. Very, very dope. Track 8, Episodes of a Hustla. Another dope track by Big Noyd. I mean, there's not really much to talk about, because, like, a lot of the stuff that he talks about is braggadocious shit, like gangster braggadocious shit, you know what I'm saying? Episode of a Hustla, pretty dope. Track 9, Recognize and Realize Part 2. Love that joint. I actually prefer it over the Part 1, in my opinion. I think it has a better beat. Definitely reminiscent of something in Hell on Earth. Fucking love that joint. Yeah, Prodigy had an ill verse in that joint, man. Prodigy back then, man, I mean, yo, he was definitely one of the best MCs out at that time. Like, I mean, he was so ill that, mad people were sampling him, you know what I mean? Like, he had chordables for days. I mean, he had that voice, he had the charisma. I miss that Prodigy. I still fuck with Prodigy, but I want him to kind of go back to the old Prodigy that I miss. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not like, just like rhyming wise, you know what I mean? Just like so ill, you know what I mean? Just like he was more energetic and stuff like that. I miss that Prodigy. I miss that Mobb Deep. Track 10, I Don't Want to Love Again. That's like more of an R&B track, but pretty much like it's like more of an R&B track. Like I said, it's featuring Siku. It's pretty much her song in a sense. Prodigy pretty much had. No, I'm sorry. Big Noyd actually only had like one verse. Like she pretty much had two verses, and then he had one verse. So it was like three verses. They, you know, she did her thing. I just wish she came out with more stuff, but you know, I guess that didn't happen, obviously. And track 11, Usual Suspects, the Stretch Armstrong remix, like I mentioned before, which was the first single, and it was actually a vinyl release back when vinyl was popping. It was very popular. It's popular now, but not as popular as back then. Even though the resurgence for vinyl has gone up, but I saw it for 12 inches, I should say. The Usual Suspects, that's a more familiar version that people are familiar with, because the Habit version was like more of a it was more of an album cut more so than the single. I guess it was like too dark. I guess it was too dark for like the radio or some shit like that. So I guess that's why they had the remix and shit like that. I prefer the original over the remix. The remix was okay, but I kind of feel like the Stretch Armstrong version didn't really fit the album. That's just my opinion. But that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, man. Overall, very dope album, very slept on, very underrated. If you guys like Mobb Deep's Hell on Earth album, production wise and subject wise, then you'll definitely enjoy this album. Obviously not as deep as Hell on Earth, but you know, just like production wise, you will definitely enjoy this album. This album for years was long out of print. It was very hard to come by. Even to this day, it's out of print and it's hard to come by. But you can go on eBay or Amazon. You get it for dumb cheap. I actually found this album at FYE last year. I did a big ass haul, CD collection. I forgot what number, but I did a CD haul, and I showed it on this that I did at FYE, and I think it was the same day that I bought like a Wu-Tang lot, which was like a like Sons of Man, Killer Army, like Wu affiliated a lot that I won off eBay for like $60, and then I think that same day is like when I showed this album and stuff like that. So yeah, man, very dope album. The reason why this album is short, it talks about that in the interview that I mentioned, was because at the time he was on the run with the law. He actually shot somebody for attempted murder. You know, he was going through court and stuff like that, and and by the time he got out, which he didn't really do any much time, because I think he came out the same year in '96, but he beat the case. But Tommy Boy Records, like, they didn't want to wait, so they just put out the album the way it is. So that's why it's so short. You know what I mean? That's why there's no videos, because like I said, he was on the run from the law. He shot somebody for attempted murder and stuff like that. So things of that nature. Definitely an underrated album. I like this album a lot. Definitely some of Havoc's best beats are on this album, in my opinion. Like I said, if you like Hell on Earth, you'll definitely enjoy this album. One thing about Big Noyd is kind of a gripe for me is he needs to put himself out more. I think he needs to put out more albums. He has a whole bunch of street albums and a couple other albums. I do have his Only the Strong album that came out in 2003, which came out 7 years after this album. But I just wish he would apply himself more. And yes, I know he was featured on the DJ Skiz album, the BQE album that came out last year. I think last year, 2013. I think it was 2013. But anyway, he was featured on that. And he had a song called I forgot the name of it, but Havoc did the beat, and the shit is so ill. I posted that in the description box. The video is mad ill. I fucking love it. And one thing I forgot to mention throughout the video, what I like about Big Noyd is his choice of beats. And to me, he has one of the illest flows in hip hop. He has a dope flow. Like, the nigga can flow on any type of beat. Like, the way he flows with certain beats, like, he fucking murders it. And I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that. You know, I think he has one of the best flows in hip hop. And That's it, man. If you guys can find this album, like I said, it's out of print, but even the reissue is out of print. But if you can find it, definitely pick it up. Definitely worth having in your collection. If you're a Mobb Deep fan, this is definitely worth having in your collection. And that's it, folks. So like I said, I have the Q&A tomorrow. I have the Q&A deadline is tomorrow night at 11:59. So if you could post your questions by then, that'd be great. Tell a friend, that type of thing. More questions, more the merrier. You know what I'm saying? Better for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed that review. Stay tuned for more videos. Peace.